let's discuss the factors that affect population sizes. So you need to know a couple things. The first one is density, and density is just how close together things are. For example, solids, the molecules are really close together, and with gases, the molecules are all spread apart. All right, so the more closer together, it's the more dense. You also need to understand biotic versus abiotic. So abiotic is not non-living things. They were never alive, like rocks, water, air. And biotic, well, they're living things, right? Like organisms, animals, plants, bacteria. Now, with those in mind, so what limits a population size, right, where it can't grow any further? Well, it could be a density-dependent factor, meaning the size of the population is important to this factor. So predators and prey, all right? If there's lots of prey, really easy for the predators to get some food, right? There's very little amount of prey, well, the predators are really competing for the little amount of food, all right? So you notice the size of the prey population, all right, is going to determine the size of the predator population, right? So it's density dependent. Disease. Well, disease spreads in a more dense situation, right? When people are really close together, right? Much easier to catch the cold. All right, well, and for organisms, the same is true, right? When organisms are bunched up, really dense situation, high density population, then it's easier for disease to spread. Same is true with parasites, right? Fleas and ticks, right? Bed bugs, well, they need to feed on something. Their food source, all right, is really close together. When it's a really dense population, right, it's much easier for them to get food, right? Their population is able to grow. When they're all spread out, right, you notice how the size of the population, the density of the population is affecting the size of these organisms. And it all comes down to competition. When it's a more dense situation, so take a look into motorbikes, right? You can totally see lots of motorbikes, a lot of competition. And if there was only 2 motorbikes in that example, that would be very little amount of competition between each other. Density independent factors actually don't care whatsoever about the size of the population. So it's not about competition anymore. You can think of these as more random events. For example, a natural disaster. A natural disaster does not care if the population size is 50 or 50 million. A hurricane comes in, doesn't care. It will affect it the same. Flood and droughts. Flood and droughts don't care about the size of the population. Flood will just come in and wipe out a 50,000 organism population or a 5,000 organism population. The size of the population, the density of the population does not matter. Humans, we can take away the water. We can dam it up and use it for ourselves. Well, when we use it up ourselves, guess what? That water is not available for the other organisms. And of course, right, we're taking away a resource to them. And of course, when we take away the water, doesn't matter if their population is 50 or 50 million, we're taking away their resource. Same is true with us cutting down the trees. We're taking away shelter. This is where the habitat, they were taking it away. We're cutting it down and using those trees for toilet paper and for houses. But we're also taking away the habitat, their shelter. Seasonal cycles doesn't care about the size of the population or the density of the population. Summer and winter is just going to happen. And the last one we're going to discuss is climate change. Like, think about it, if the amount of rainfall changes, well, then the amount of fresh water available to plants and organisms change. And it doesn't matter about the size of the population. So, to review, these are the factors that influence growth rates. Density-dependent factors cares a lot about the size, the density of the population. Density-independent factors, you can think of them as more random, right? They don't care at all about the size of the population. They're just going to happen anyways. I hope this helps. Thanks for listening.